far as announcements. So let's dive in and let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your blessings. Thank you for being such a wonderful God. And Lord, we ask for you to open our eyes, help us to see what we need to see that we might be free. And Lord, we thank you for doing so. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, yesterday we talked about the fact that we are self-governing and we govern ourselves according to identity. And we were created by God as a child of God, and with God supplying our needs, by trust binding ourselves to God, by faith taking what we need from Him. Our needs must be taken in, not put into us. And our needs are fulfilled by taking those needs by faith, and that is pleasurable. And then we were created not just to take, but to give. And what you give is a reflection of what you took. And it's pleasurable to give as well. And we saw that everything functions according to law, and there's a fundamental law of all nature, and that is that nothing exists or functions from itself, and nothing exists or functions for itself. That means that everything must take, but it takes in order to give, right? And the reason that I use the word take, some people question, well, isn't it receiving or getting? Well, in the English language, receiving or getting can be passive, right? So, you can passively receive something, but when it comes to this process, because we were created to govern ourselves, we cannot be passively filled from the outside. We must actively bring it in. And in the English language, taking is always active, right? It's always active, and so that's why I use the word take. Now, if you want to use receive or something like that, that's fine, as long as you understand it's an active process, right? It's an active process. And then there's the law, and the law shows us that we are to take from God, be dependent upon Him, and give to others, and we give selflessly. And somebody after the meeting yesterday had an intelligent question, and a very appropriate one. If we are only to take from God, and we're to give to others, but others are supposed to take from God and give, then how do you ever give if nobody else is there to receive? Because they're supposed to be taking from God, right? Right, yeah, so the reality is that there are many channels that God can use in order to give and make available to us His goods, right? And other people can be a channel of God's goodness and mercy and so on to us. And it's perfectly appropriate for us to take of any good that comes through another channel, but recognizing that it doesn't come from the person, it comes from God, but it comes through them. So your dependency is not upon the channel, it's not upon the individual, it's upon God, right? And so taking from Him and being dependent upon Him alone, but then I give to others. Now, as we finished, we finished on the point that this is not how we live, this is not how things function nowadays, and what happened that got us to where we are. And the answer is that there was a temptation that our forefathers fell to. And we find it in Genesis chapter 3, and beginning in verse 1, it says, "Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, Has God indeed said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden?" It's actually quite an ingenious question, because if we rephrase it, it says this: Did God create the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and is the tree of knowledge of good and evil bad? Right? We could kind of put it in those terms. Did God create the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and is the tree of knowledge of good and evil bad? So did he create the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Well, yes, he did, clearly. Is the tree of knowledge of good and evil bad? Okay. All right. So, if your answer is no, then the question is, why is he withholding from you something that is good? If he's withholding from you something that is good, he must be bad. And if you come with the answer that yes, the tree is bad, that's why he's withholding it from you, but he's the one that created it, then he must be bad. He must be bad, right? So Satan asked the question in such a way that if Eve answered it one way or the other way, God must be bad, right? Must be bad. So Eve said, "All we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die." And then the serpent said to the woman, "Well, I came to this tree weeks ago or months ago or however long ago, and I ate its fruit, and I've been eating from it since that time, and I'm not dead, and you're not going to die either. And in fact, when I started eating of this fruit, I got powers and capabilities I didn't even know were possible. And I can talk, and I can think, and I can reason, and I have all this stuff that I didn't have before. And this is some really good stuff. And God knows that if you eat from this tree, you were so much greater than a snake, so that when you eat of this tree, you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Right? So, you will not surely die, for God knows in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be open, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, did Eve have a need to be like God? Did she have a need to be like God? Yes. She was created in God's image. So she had a need to be like God. Do you have a need to be like God? Yes. Do you have a need to be God? No. There's a difference. There's a difference. But you have a need to be like Him. So to be loving like Him, to be compassionate like Him, to be understanding like Him, and so on and so forth, right? We have that need, and she had that need as well. And did she have a need to not die? I mean, is not dying a good thing? Well, yes, okay, so that was a good thing. So Eve was going after good things, right? She was going after not dying. She was going after being like God. The problem was, what she was going after was that way, and Satan said it was that way. And God said it was that way, and it was that way, but Satan said it was that way. And in order for her to go that way, she had to distrust God and trust Satan, right? She had to distrust God and she had to trust Satan. And when she did so, there was something that changed inside of her. And it's something that you and I, we didn't ask for, we didn't plead for, but we got. And that is an identity crisis. And this is the identity crisis of all of fallen nature, whether it is in angels or whether it is in humans. Wherever you find fallen nature, it is the underlying identity of it. And that is that I, the creature, believe that I am God. Right? I, the creature, believe that I am God. That was the lie that Satan told Eve. That's the lie that she bit into. That's the lie that she shared with Adam. That's the lie that he bit into. And that's the lie that everybody who is born to Adam and Eve is born into. Right? We didn't ask for it, but we get it. So Eve, as a child of God, bound by trust to God, by faith taking what she needed from God and then giving to others, Satan came along with the I am God complex because, well, that's where it originated, was with him. And he said, oh no, the tree is good, you'll be like God, you're not going to die. And in order for Eve to take in Satan's information, she had to convince herself of something. She had to convince herself that she could be something that she could not be. Right? Can a creature become a god? No, it's impossible. Right? The effect cannot become the cause. Right? And so she could not become a god, but the only thing that could happen in her, since our self-government begins at identity, was for her to be deceived or self-deceived into believing that she could be a god. Now, if you want an evidence that you believe that you're God, is there anybody that has ever sinned? All right. Well, you only do so because you think you know better than God, so that you can go in a way different than what He has chosen for you. And so if you think that you know a way better than God does, you must be a god. Right? You must be a god. And so she deceived herself into believing that she was a god, and in doing so, she cut herself off from God as her source, but she still needed a source. You always have to have a source. And so now she bound herself to Satan by trust, and by faith she took what Satan said, and he said, it's good, you'll be like God, you will not die. The heart always goes after gain, and everything that he told her looked like gain. And so she's going this direction, and all of a sudden, boom, she's going this direction without knowing really that she switched. Right? She's still pursuing good, but in the beginning she was pursuing good in this direction, and then when he came along and the whole lie and everything, now boom, she's still pursuing good, but she's pursuing it in this direction, but it's actually evil. Right? She was deceived. Now, if you think it's good, you got to eat it. Right? You got to take it. And then, well, she came to Adam and she told him the same thing. Oh, the tree is good. You'll be like God. You will not die. Look, I've eaten it. I'm not dead. I love you more than I did before. One son. So now she became the agent of Satan to Adam. And now Adam had a real dilemma. He had a real dilemma. Because Eve, she was snuckered into this thing. I mean, she was just this way, and then she got it, and she's this way, and she's just as happy as she was before. Sort of. You know? And whatever. Adam saw Eve with that, you know, that armload of fruit, and he's like, oh, no, you did not. Did you No. And now, Adam he's in a real dilemma. And the dilemma is, does he agree with God that she must die? Does he agree with God that she must die for eating that fruit? Now, if you don't love your wife, don't raise your hand. Anybody who really loves their wife, raise your hand. Okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Of course, I put you on the spot, so you're not sure. But if you really love your wife and now she must die, do you agree with that? You'd be like, okay, she's got to go. Now, if you don't love her, you might be like, but if you really do love her, that's a struggle. I mean, that's a serious struggle. And so now he's faced with not having her and agreeing with God that she must die. And so he starts thinking, right? He's under pressure now. And he starts thinking. And he's going, all right, she's in front of me. She is still alive. She's not dead yet. She claims that she loves me more than she did before. And now she gets bigger, bigger, bigger in his eyes. And everything else besides her gets smaller, smaller, smaller. And he also self-deceives. and he questions God. And he decides that he's going to have another way. Right? He's going to pursue another way, which is joining her. And then the thought comes, well, maybe, all right, the tree is good. Maybe we will be like God. Maybe we won't die. And he cuts himself off from God. And now he has the sinful fallen human nature, and he believes this. And when you believe this, all of this is good, and so you've got to eat it. And he followed her as well. And now, all you had to do for humanity to fall was to switch the tables around. And instead of taking from God and giving to people, you now take from others and then try to give to God. And now you're dependent upon others. And others, other than God, is that going to be good or not good? Not good. So you're going to be taking what's not good. You're going to be dependent upon what's not good. You're going to give what's not good. And so selfishness comes into this picture automatically, and evil is the result. Right? And all of that happened just like that. Just like that. And Jeremiah 17 verses 5 and 6 says, "Thus says the Lord, cursed is the wife who trusts her husband and makes him her strength, whose heart departs from the Lord." Isn't that what it says? Yeah, let me read it again. "Thus says the Lord, cursed is the husband who trusts his wife and makes her his strength, whose heart departs from the Lord." Didn't I read that right? All right. "Thus says the Lord, cursed is the child who trusts their parent and makes the parent their strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. Or cursed is the parent who trusts their child and makes their child their strength, whose heart departs from the Lord. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land which is not inhabited." All right, sounds a little hard. All right, sounds a little hard. I will often use this text when I am counseling in a counseling appointment, especially if I'm dealing with a spouse whose other spouse has not been faithful and so on, and they're just distraught over what's going on. And we've had a little bit of, working up to this and so on, and so I don't drop this as the first bomb. But we get to this. All right, what happens? What is trust? What does trust do? Remember, we just looked at it. Trust binds you to your source. Right? It's by trust that you bind yourself to your source. So, if you trust in man, that means man is your source. Man is your source. Right? And this is general. It's cursed is a man who trusts in man. That means if you are a person and you trust in a person, then flesh is your strength and your heart has departed from the Lord, because if you have a person as your source, you cannot have God as your source at the same time. It's mutually exclusive. It's one or the other. You either have God as a source or you have somebody else as your source. And if you have somebody else as your source, you do not have God as your source. And if you don't have God as your source, but you do have another person as your source, then, oh boy, you're not going to see when good comes. And you're going to be in dry places. And you're going to be in a salt land which is not inhabited. And your life is going to be miserable. Miserable. Because you were never intended to have another human being as your source. You were intended to have God as your source. Because He is good. He is always good. He is loving. He is caring. He is kind. He is compassionate. He understands. He accepts. He is everything you need always. And when you have Him as your source, you get everything that you need always, right? You have access to it always. But when you have other people as your source, sometimes they're up and sometimes they're upside down. Sometimes things are going well and other times things are not going well. And when you have somebody else as your source, when they are not going well, guess what? You're not going well. you're not going well, if they're not going well. And that's a problem. Now, is this a problem just as adults? Or do we have this problem as little ones? Is it possible that we even have the problem as little ones? Right. All right, so where does this happen? What happens? Well, you and I, we have a father and we have a mother. And father and mother have information in the form of genetic material, physical information, and we understand that that physical information, you get a half copy from mother and you get a half copy from father. And so half of the information that makes up your body came from your father's body, and half of the information that makes up your body came from your mother's body. But are we just body? No, we also have spirit, right? We looked at that yesterday. You're not just body, you also have spirit. So guess what? Your father has a spirit, and your mother has a spirit. And so you get half of the information that makes up your spirit came from your father, and half of the information that makes up your spirit came from your mother. And what kind of spirit or what kind of nature did your father have? Fallen. And fallen nature at its foundation has the I am God. So what did you get from your daddy? I am God. And what kind of nature did your mother have? Fallen nature. So she had the I am God, so what do you get from her? Yeah, you get the same thing. So you get a whole full copy of the I am God yourself. Did you ask for it? No. No. No, not at all. And during their lifetime, father has certain spiritual propensities, weaknesses, and so on and so forth. Mother does as well. And you get some of his and you get some of hers. And you might never have met him in your life. But you might act like him because you inherited that from him. Now, from an evolutionary standpoint, evolutionary theory says, well, your propensities are because of this, right? It's because of the genetic information. No, sorry. It's not the physical that generates the spiritual. It's the other way around, right? The reason that you have certain propensities and you have certain spiritual qualities is because you have a spirit and you got that from somewhere. And some people think that every time that there's a new baby, God goes in there and he creates a new spirit or breathes a new spirit into that baby and so on and so forth. No. God created one human being, Adam. And he created that human being to make more human beings. And he took Eve from Adam. Yes, he added some stuff to there, but he took Eve from Adam, and now he created that to continue on from generation to generation to generation. So it is one life, but many individuals that come from that one life. That's why Paul talks about things in regards to the first Adam, which we all participate in, and then the need for the second Adam, in which we can all participate in as well. Right? So we get it, and we get the full copy. We didn't ask for it, but we got it from conception. We grow up with it as a child. We come to as adults with it, and so on. And yes, Adam and Eve had it, and they passed it on to their children, who passed it on to their children, who passed it on to their children, until when? Till now, right? And all of us are born with it. We didn't ask for it, but we got it. Right? We got it. And it causes some certain things to happen, right, when you have it. So what happens if you self-govern, and you self-govern according to identity, and now your identity is that you think you're a god? Now, how are you going to self-govern? Well, you are going to take from another source than God. And that can be Satan, that can be others, that can be animals, right? And you bind yourself by trust to them, and then what they have, you take by faith. You still have trust, you still have faith, That's part of your function. But now you're bound to a different source, and the different source has different things. And Satan is the author of lies, so he has lies, and so by faith you take the lies. Do the lies supply what you need? No. So now your needs are unfulfilled. And is it pleasurable to have your needs unfulfilled? No. It's suffering. You have suffering as a result of that. And now, are you giving out of the fullness that you have? No, because you're not full anymore, because you're disconnected from the source. So now, instead of giving, you're going to invest. What's the difference between giving and investing? Oh. Investment means I'm looking for something back. So my giving is for myself. It's for investing. So now I become selfish. Right? So immediately, boom, everything changes because the identity changed. And now my self-government changes. And now I'm selfish. And now I'm doing things for myself's sake rather than doing it for others' sake, and so on and so forth. And it gets really messy. It gets really messy. So if I am a God, now I am my own. And if I am my own, then I am accountable to no one because I belong to me. But if I am my own and I'm a God, guess who's accountable to me? You are. And you are, and you are, and you are, and you are, and everybody's accountable to me. And if you don't treat me well, you're accountable to me. And I'm going to hold you to that accountability. All right? And if I am my own and you do something that's not right to me, I take it personal because I think it's about me. And if I am a God, then my love is giving in order to receive. It's an investment. That's why yesterday when I said, okay, you need oxygen so you breathe, you need water so you drink, you need food so you eat, you need love so you... And somebody in every audience says you love. Right? You love in order to get love. Why? It's because this is how we live. Because we have the I am God. And so we give, we love, in order to get love. Right? That's how we do things. It's not how it really works. That's just the delusion and how the delusion functions. Now, I'm not saying this is how God is. I'm saying this is what it's like when you're a creature and you think you're God. Right? This is not how God is. So, I love you. Is that a statement of fact or is that a request? I love you. Is that a statement of fact or is that a request? All right. All right. Oh, thank you. Right, because that's what I was looking for. Right? So if you say, I love you, and they say, okay. And you say, I love you, and they say, whatever. And you say, I love you, and they say, well, that's your problem. And every time you say, I love you, you get a response like that back. How long are you going to say, I love you? Yeah, not very long. Because I love you does not mean I love you. I love you means I want you to love me. Right? It's a request. And if your request is not getting fulfilled, you're going to stop requesting that way and go look for another way of catching the fish. Right? Because your bait isn't working. Right? So you give to receive. You might give flowers, but you're looking for acceptance. You might give time, but you're looking for belonging. You might give attention, but you're looking for attention in return, right? And does time ever belong to you? No, but as a God, you think it does. And so you think you gave your time. Right? And it's interesting because, well, you know, and you've done it to me and I've done it to others, but you say, oh, thank you for your time. I don't have time. It doesn't belong to me, right? But we think that way, right? No, I don't. It doesn't belong to me. It's not mine. But we think it is, and so we give it away in order to get something. Right? So imagine somebody in your life that you love the most, and you want to get them that perfect gift for birthday, anniversary, whatever celebration it is. And you go looking online, you go looking in stores, you finally find it. It's it's just perfect for their personality, and now it's expensive. And so you have to save for a few more weeks or months in order to get it, and you do. And then you get it and you wrap it up nicely, and it's all nice and beautiful, and the time comes and you come up and you knock on the door. And they open the door. And with a smile, you hand them the present, and they take it, and they throw it on the ground, and they stomp on it. They slam the door. How do you feel?
Terrible.
Terrible. What else? Heartbroken. What was that?
Curious.
Curious? All right. Yeah. Yeah. Rebellious, thumbs down, angry, something,
Frustrated.
right? Frustrated, all right. Crushed, rejected, broken, all right. Why?
Because you didn't want it.
Why do we feel that way? Oh, we didn't get anything back. We didn't receive what we expected. There was an expectation associated with the gift. That they would receive it, that they would be thankful for it, that there might be a thank you, that there might be a hug or a kiss or a welcome inside or something like that. It just depends on the relationship. Some of it, no, do not kiss me. But, it just depends on the relationship as to what you expect in relation to it. But you didn't get what you expected. And also, that present was purchased with your money. It represents your love, and that was your loved one. And when that happens, it happens to you. It happens to you. Right? Because that was yours. Right? And so you take it personal. On purpose? Do you take it personal on purpose? Do you sit there and you go, I have the choice to not take this personally, or I could take this personally, and I'm going to choose to take this personally right now. Do we do that? No. Or do we do it automatically? Yes, automatically. That's an automatic response of believing that you're a God. So when the identity is that way, this is the automatic response that you get when you're put into a circumstance or a situation like that. You can't help it. You have to respond in harmony with your identity. So if I'm a God, then I'm dependent upon others. And if I'm dependent upon others, that means I'm a slave to them. And so I have to, don't worry, this one's going to build. If you want the last picture, then I'll let you know. It's going to come, and it's going to fill all the way up down here. So I will modify how I behave in relation to you so that I can get what I need from you. So if you control or you possess anything that I think I need, then I'm going to modify how I behave around you so that I can continue to get that. So if I need you to accept me, if I need you to love me, if I need you to be in harmony with me, if I need you to be secure for me, and so on, then I will modify, again, how I behave in relation to you so that I can continue to get that. And I might do some good things so that I might get some good things, and if that works, great. But if it doesn't work, there's some other modalities that might work. Right? Yeah. Because fear is a powerful motivator. Right? It is. It's a powerful motivator. And so the individual who uses threats and fear and abuse and other things of that nature to somebody else is the slave to the one that they're doing it to, because they think that individual possesses what they need, and they're using these modalities in order to try to keep the person and to try to continue to get from their source. Right? And why are they still there? Why are they still there? The same reason. They're there the same reason. because they see that this individual controls something that they need or possesses something that they need, and so they stay there in order to continue to receive from them what they need or to not have it taken away. So if they say, if you leave me, I will kill you. Well, if you believe that they control your ability to live, then for the sake of life, you might stay. Right? Or they might say, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. Well, if you think that they possess something that you need and they're going to kill themselves, then you're not going to have it anymore, and then you're going to be at loss, and so you stay for the sake of that. So both the person who uses these modalities on somebody else and the one that remains in that situation both do so because they need the other person. At least they think they do. Right? You might call that co-dependency. Right? And you don't have to know a person in order for this to work. I can go halfway around the world. Hi, guys. And I can make myself dependent upon the audience if I've never seen you before and need you to agree and approve and, and so on and so forth. Right? I can do that because it just happens naturally with the sinful fallen human nature. It just happens naturally. And so that means that if I think I need you to approve, or I need you to applaud, or if I need you to do anything like that, then that means that you can put pressure on me. Or at least I feel like I'm under pressure in relation to you. And so I might have to modify how I speak and what I say and so on and so forth in order to continue to receive from you the acceptance and yada, yada, yada. Right? Doesn't have to be somebody you know. It can be strangers. Right? And it doesn't have to be a single individual. It can be corporations. Right? It can be corporations. Yeah, I see the smiles. Right. I'm just using this as an example that everybody knows around the world, and it's a common ground that everybody can look at and go, oh yeah, yeah. Right? So, did certain individuals feel under pressure? Well, yeah, sure. Were there other individuals that did not feel under pressure? Yeah, sure. What was the difference?
Some believed in it.
Yeah, so some were in agreement with it. So if you're in agreement with it, there's no pressure, right? There's no pressure whatsoever. You want it, corporation wants it for you, that's great. There's no pressure. But if it's somebody that didn't want it, but the corporation wanted it for you, then you felt under pressure. Why?
You don't want it.
No, that's not why you were under pressure. All right? Okay, no job, no job. Okay, okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, so it's because of what you believe already before the thing came. Right? It's what you believe already before the thing came. And what do you believe already? You believed already that the corporation can control your livelihood. And your livelihood is dependent upon a corporation. And hence the corporation can remove from you your livelihood. And now, since you believe that the corporation controls something that you need, now you can be put under pressure in relation to anything the corporation wants to do, in relation to however it wants to operate, and so on. Right? Yeah. But the pressure is not because of what they say, the pressure is because of what you believe already. Is a corporation the source of your livelihood? No. No, it's not. God is. God is. And God took the Israelites out into the wilderness where they had tons of money that they just looted Egypt with, and you couldn't use any of it. Useless. In the desert, where you can't buy water, you can't buy food, you can't buy anything in order to keep yourself alive. It was useless. And God took them into a situation and a position where he showed them, when you have nothing else that you ever relied on before, I will still take care of you. I am the source of your livelihood. Not a government, not a corporation, not another, and so on. I am your source. So if you know that God is your source and he is the one that controls your livelihood, and a corporation says you need to participate in Pajama Mondays, or Bikini Tuesdays, or Naked Wednesdays, or Injection Thursdays, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the topic is. I'm just picking a topic that everybody is familiar with, right? So to make a point, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Can the corporation put you under pressure if the corporation does not control anything that you need? No. You can only be put under pressure if you believe they control what you need. And that is your own issue. That's your own issue. And so if you were under that pressure and you felt under that pressure and it felt like a big burden of pressure, it's because of what you believed. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that they were right or wrong for going one way or the other. But I'm saying that we don't have to be controlled by what's outside. In fact, we shouldn't be. And the only way that you're not going to be controlled by what's outside is if you have God as your source. Right? And if you believe certain groups control your identity, control your freedom, control your ability to X, Y, or Z, then if you believe that, then you can be controlled or manipulated in relation to those things that you need that you believe they control. But if you know that they do not control those things, but they are controlled by God, then can they ever threaten you? No, I mean, they can say the threats and whatever, but are you under pressure in relation to their threats? No.
Depends on your conviction.
What's that?
Depends on your conviction.
Yeah, it depends on your conviction. Yeah, so you can be shaky and not sure. Right, yeah, so there's a shaking coming. I think it's already been coming, maybe? All right. So, the only ones who will stand in the end are the ones who are dependent upon God and God alone. If you believe anyone or anything other than God can control what you need, that is where you will fall. That's where you'll fall. And we're told a beautiful statement, and that is that every human tie will be severed. Every human tie will be severed. You will not come to the end in groups. You won't even come to the end in pairs. Every human tie will be severed. That's a promise. I used to look at it as oh no, look at what's coming. No, it's a promise. What that means is you will have God as your only source. And you will not be tethered as a source to any other human being. You'll finally be free. Free. Right? And if you have the I am God going on, right, the wrong thing, the sinful nature, then you will make other people your source, and if they're your source, you can't let them go. Right? If they're the source of what you need, you can't let them go. And so you hear all of these things, oh, you complete me. And, oh, I love you so much, I could never let you go. Oh, I love you so much, I could never lose you. And all of these different things. Well, it sounds good, but it's evil. It really is. Because in that case, I have another person as my source. And if I have another person as my source, who do I not have as my source? God. And if I have another person as my source and not God, is that godly or is that idolatry? It's idolatry. Right? So when I can't lose them, when I can't let them go, it's because they're my idol. And I'm already in trouble. I'm already in trouble. It is not a sign that you love somebody that you cannot let them go. It's a sign that you don't love them. You idolize them. And that's not love. Right? True love can let anyone in your life go except God. Right? Except God. Now, it's not like you're excited about that. I'm not saying that.
Where does grief come in when you love someone so much?
Oh, where does grief come in when you love someone so much? Are we talking about this kind of love someone so much? Or are we talking about the real love someone so much?
In principle.
Okay, in principle. All right, so what happens in the false identity is that I will grieve and grieve and grieve because of my loss. Because you belong to me, and you had what I needed, and now you're no longer there, and now I can't receive what I need from you anymore. And so I grieve what I cannot receive. And when you grieve what you cannot receive, you're grieving for who? Self. And grieving for self will kill you. Not on purpose. And do you do this on purpose? Do you go there and you go, oh, I'm going to have you as my idol, and I have a free choice not to have you as my idol, but I'm going to choose to have you as my idol, and so on and so forth. No, we don't do this consciously. It's based upon our identity, and it happens automatically, right? So, what if I have it from the right perspective, which we're going to talk about tomorrow night, but since you asked. What if I see it from the right perspective? And I have God as my source, and I'm taking from Him, and you are there for me to give to. And I have joy in taking from God and giving to you. And yes, if you're taking from God and you're giving in this direction, I accept that as coming from God, and I'm grateful for the channel that it comes through as well, right? And now you leave me, or you die, right? Have I lost my source? No, because my source can never die, right? My source can never die. I have not lost my source. But have I lost somewhere to give to? That particular relationship to give to? Yes, yes. So the loss is on the giving side, not on the taking side. And so my loss is for whom? It's for you or for God? Because He's the one I'm taking from, and you're the one I'm giving to. So I hurt for you and for Him. It's not a selfish hurt. It's not a selfish burden, and so on. And if it's not a selfish one and it's for others, it will never destroy you, no matter how bad it hurts. Never. Jesus was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, but His sorrow and His grief was not for Himself. It was for us. Right? It was for us. You need a love that is full, that's eternal, that's unselfish, that's personal. Right? That's the kind of love that you need. So, what if you believe you can find that here? What's that? Oh, they'll take all of your assets.
God gave Eve to Adam.
All right, God gave Eve to Adam, yes. Yes.
To bring a fulfilling outcome of God's love.
Okay, to bring a fulfilling outcome of God's love, yes. Was Eve for the taking side or was Eve for the giving side? For the giving, right? Not for the taking, right? Our sinful nature will take the passages, all the passages in the Scripture, our sinful nature will take it and turn it around. And it will make cause effect and effect cause. And it will interpret things according to the sinful fallen human nature as well. And so, yes, Eve was there, but Eve was there for Adam on the giving side. And yes, they were intended to work together. So if she was going to die, was there going to be something that was going to be lost? Yes. But who did it belong to?
God.
God. So whose loss would it be? God's. If you don't own anything and nothing belongs to you, you can't lose anything. Right? And God never intended for us to be the owner. He only intended for us to be the stewards. Right? The stewards. So, can they provide a love that is full, that is constant, that is unselfish, and that is personal?
If they're not taking from the source, they can.
If they're taking from the source, right? If they're taking from the source and they're taking from the source well, right? Then to the degree that they're taking from the source, then you can receive from that. Sure. Yes. Yes. Can they produce that? No. Because it didn't come from them. Do they need it? Yes, they need it. And if you need it, you can't produce it. Right? So, you have a neighbor that comes over and they're always knocking on the door and asking for things and so on. Right? And today they knock on the door and it's a desperate knock, and their child, they found out, has a terminal condition, and they've been told that there's probably 6 weeks to 6 months. They're not exactly sure. Do your bucket list, do it quick, and then you're going to get on hospice and let the child die. But as persistent as the neighbor is on knocking on your door, they are as persistent getting on Google and searching for things. And they don't stop at the first 3 hits or even the first 7 hits. And they find in 3,654 hits later that there is some center off in another country that has figured out how to treat this condition, and they have like a 50% success rate. And they want to take their child to that center in order to treat the child and give them the chance to live. Right? And they need $10 million. And so they're there in order for you to give them $10 million. So how many of you are going to give them $10 million? Cruel people. Why aren't you going to give them what they need? Oh, that a problem? Yeah, you don't have it? Oh, is that a problem? Well, in relationships, we have one person going to another person seeking to get what you need, but the other person isn't the source of what you need, and they can't produce what you need, and so you run deficient. And then when you run deficient and they think that they should be able to supply your needs, and they're not supplying your needs, and you're not happy, then they're not happy, and everybody's not happy. So you're frustrated because you're not getting what you need, and they're frustrated because they can't give you what you need, and everybody's frustrated. Welcome to relationships as a little God. It doesn't work. It doesn't work well at all. So as a God, I expect good from others. And if I expect good from others, then there's frustration. Because are they good? No. No. There is none that is good. No, not one. Right? And Spirit of Prophecy says that God will let every human arm, and meaning strength or something to rely upon, fail you. Everyone. Till you recognize there's only one that you can trust in. That's Him. Right? That's Him. So if I expect good from others, it's not going to happen. There might be bits and times and so on where it seems like it's okay, but it's not going to be what I need, because I need a goodness that is constant, not one that's intermittent. And I need one that's full, not one that's partial. And I need one that is unselfish, not one that's selfish. And so there's frustration. And now not only is there frustration, there's manipulation. Now I have to try to fix you. I have to try to control you because you're not so good, and I need you to be good in order for me to be good. And so in order for me to be good, I have to make you good. It's true. Yeah, it's true. So we were made for good, and if you take good, you have good, and then you can give good. But if you take bad, you got bad, and you're going to give bad. And God intends for us to be, for Him to be the one that we take from, because He's always good. That's what we get, and that's what we're going to give. But when we have others as our source, and there is none who does good, no, not one, then what we're going to get is what's bad, and that's what we're going to give. And so the children, they misbehave. And they misbehave out of what nature? Fallen nature. And then you try to fix them by what nature? Fallen nature. And so they and their fallen nature, who are not able to truly obey and so on and so forth, because obedience, true obedience, comes from love and comes from the heart. It does not come from selfishness or force or other things of that nature. And so they cannot control themselves under that situation. And when they cannot control themselves, you can't control yourself. And then you try to control them with your lack of control. And with the same nature, try to beat out of them the nature that they've got. And as Ellen White says, you beat in more demons than you beat out. And you don't fix the problem because you're using the problem to try to fix the problem. And it doesn't work. And then your spouse gets into it too, and oh boy. Oh dear, yes. And if she's not good, you're not good. And if you're not good, she's not good. And nobody's good when nobody's good. Right? And then, if it's not just in the family and the ones that are close to you, if it's a topic that you're particularly interested in, then you will go around trying to control others in relation to certain issues that are dear and, near and dear to you, as long as you think you have some authority to do so. Right? Right? And if you don't have any authority and you can't do anything about it, then you just sit back and steam about all the things that you can't do, and all the mess, and all the this, and all the that, and this that's creeping into the church, and that's creeping into the church, and then you end up being a sad Adventist. A mad Adventist. Sorry. Yes. And if I'm a God, then I think it's about me. And if it's about me, it's personal. Right? It's personal. So you're driving down the road, somebody cuts you off, that's personal. And oh boy, you are going to rise to new levels. And your business loses that big client, and your boss blames you for the loss. And now you're dejected, and so on. Why? Because it's personal, right? You take it personal. You go to the Sydney Opera House, and you play that incredibly difficult piece, and you nail it. And there's a standing ovation. And you are just elated. Why? Because you think it's about you. It's personal. You go on that date, and they don't show up. Now you feel stupid, embarrassed, rejected, disrespected. Why? Because you think it's about you. You think it's about you. And so you take it personal. Do we do that on purpose? No, not at all. Do you sit there in the traffic and you go, okay, right now I have a free choice to either be patient and kind and loving at the moment, or I'm going to be impatient and frustrated and angry and get some road rage. I think I'm going to go for the latter. Right? Is that how it works? No, it's not a conscious thing. It's not a conscious processing. This is an unconscious processing, and it happens just like that, and it's based upon our identity. And your identity will drive your responses. It'll drive it, right? And when somebody else is speaking not so nicely and they're speaking in your direction, well, you take it personally. Right? Because if you're a God, but you're cut off from God, you have to have another source other than God, and so you take them as your source. And if they're your source, you have to eat their words. Poison will never kill you until you take it in. But why do you take in the poison? You take in the poison because they're your source, and you have to take what your source says. So is it important who your source is? Yes. Because if you have the right source, you're never subject to poison. Because God is never poisonous. And he always speaks the truth in love. In love. Right? And what they might be saying might be true. But they're not saying it in love. And if they're telling the truth not in love, it's poison. Even if it's truth. Right? And so even then, you've got to filter that through God and say, okay, God, what do you think about this? And he might say, okay, what they said, it was true. It was true. And you go, oh, okay, God, what are we going to do about this? It's like, okay, I got a plan. Let's start working on it. Right? And he does it with love. Love. Right? So you can take it from God with love. If I'm a God, then I'm the owner. And if I'm the owner, if it's destroyed, damaged, injured, dies, walks away, it's my loss. Right? It's my loss. So the house burns down. That was my house. And that's my loss. And now I'm homeless. And it's my problem. And now I have to try to figure out how to fix it. And your spouse leaves you. And now you're alone. And you don't have that anymore. And now there's a bunch of insecurities and so on associated with it. It's your loss. And you have that accident. And there's that spinal cord injury. And now you can't move your toes or your hands or your fingers or your legs or your anything below your neck. And you have lost your capabilities. Right? And mother dies, and she's no longer there to talk to counsel with, to so on and so forth, or to finally apologize to. And it's your loss. Right? It's your loss. Right? Do we do this because we want to? Because we think through a whole process and go, you know what, I'm just, I have the ability to not be at loss in this situation, but I think I want to be at loss now. No. It's automatic. It's by nature. It comes from the identity. Right? If I'm a God, then it's my problem, and I'm the one that has to fix it. And in order to fix it, I have to control all sorts of stuff. I have to control all sorts of things. This isn't the last one. I got one more. So here I am, and I got a problem inside of me, but I don't see the problem inside of me. The problem inside of me makes me think that the problems are outside of me. And I got all sorts of them, like possessions and people and environment and resources and circumstances and time and space. I got all these things around me, and they're all like fires threatening to burn me up. And so here I am trying to control all of this stuff so that it doesn't burn me. And my measure of success is comfort. As long as I'm comfortable, I think I'm doing well. But how much of these things can I control? None. So how often am I going to fail? All the time. And that results in stress. Right? Stress is the result of failing to control what you cannot control. And you're trying to control what you cannot control because you think you can control what you cannot control because you think you're a God. On purpose? No. Naturally. By nature. Right? And finally, if I'm a God, then I'm the judge. And if I'm the judge, I know how to condemn. I condemn really well. I'm a really good judge. I'm a really good condemner. And I am really good at justice. And I will really make sure that justice is done. And if I did it and I did the wrong and so on and so forth, then I am going to justice myself into the grave. And I will beat myself up, and I will, self-hatred and self-flagellation and whatever, and guilt and all of that kind of stuff. And if you did it, well, I'm going to judge you. And not only am I going to judge you, just wait.
Where does rebuking someone come into it if they don't know they've done the wrong thing?
Where does rebuking come into this if somebody has done something that's wrong? Right. Well, if you're from this side, you don't rebuke anybody, you judge them. And then you condemn them. The rebuking comes tomorrow night. When you come at it from the right standpoint. But from the right standpoint, I recognize that they don't belong to me. And what they've done, they didn't do it to me. Because I'm not my own. I belong to God. Right? I'm His child. Right? And so if whatever they didn't do it to me, they did it to God. But they belong to Him, and they are precious to Him, and He loves them, so I love them. Then, if they're going in a wrong direction, then in love, I want to draw them back. Right? And so rebuke is there in love in order to draw somebody back from a wrong direction. Right? And it comes from somebody in authority. Right? It should. It should come from somebody in authority in that respect. So now there's bitterness, and we have the bitterness trap. And so in the bitterness deception, I believe that I'm God. I believe that you sinned against me, so you violated my law. And that sin requires a penalty, and I must uphold justice. But I do justice for self's sake. Right? I do justice for my sake, not for your sake. And so I'm going to try to extract the penalty from you, and you're only going to go free when you have paid the penalty in full. But can you pay the penalty? No. So are you ever going to go free? No, poor you. You get to stay in my prison forever. Right? You're not going to go free. So the deception is that you wronged me. I'm going to put you in prison, and you're going to stay in prison until you pay for everything that you did. But you can't pay, so you're never going to get out. Right? That's a deception. But what happens if I'm delusional? What happens if I'm backwards? What happens if I see everything backwards and I'm looking into the jail cell at you?
But the point, pecado love by God.
Okay, yes. Yes. Okay, so the payment doesn't come to me, it goes to God. That's right. That's right. If I'm in my delusional state, I'm looking through the bars the other way. And so it's true that you wronged God, not me, and I'm the one that's in prison. And I'm going to stay in prison until you pay for everything that you did, but you can't pay, so I'm never getting out of prison. Welcome to bitterness. Bitterness is a self-imprisonment. I am my own jailer. I am my own prison warden. I am the one that puts myself in prison, and I'm the one that holds myself there and keeps myself there. But why? Why do I do that? I do so for the sake of justice. You have to pay. So how am I going to make you pay? I'm going to hold on to my hurt feelings from what you said and what you did. And now I'm going to try to hold you close enough to my hurt feelings so that you hurt with my hurt feelings. And if you hurt enough with my hurt feelings, maybe you will pay for what you did. So guess what I cannot let go of?
God.
My hurt feelings. Because if I let go of my hurt feelings, I have nothing to make you pay with. So I must hold on to the hurt in order to make you pay. Yeah. gets burned worse? The one in the fire or the one next to the fire? The one in the fire. And the one next to the fire could be roasting marshmallows. Enjoying the show. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. And for the sake of justice, I will not let go of my hurt feelings. And I won't let you go. I'm a really good judge. Right. And there is a deception of forgiveness. Well, for everything, there's a deception. Satan's a master at that. So there's a deception of forgiveness, and it's the usual Christian understanding of forgiveness. Right? And that is that you sinned against me, and you owe me for what you did. I'm about to switch the slides so you can take your picture if you like. All right? So you sinned against me, you owe me for what you did, but I'm going to choose not to make you pay. I forgive you. I'm going to set you free. Right? What's wrong with that? I'll tell you, if this is the forgiveness that you go through and you do with people, it will never bring you healing. It won't. It'll never bring you healing. Because this is false. It's a deception. It's a delusion. I am still God. And you still did it to me. And you owe me. But I'm going to be nice. You little peon, I'll let you go. I forgive you. So I'm higher than you are. I'm the one giving you the forgiveness. You did it to me. I am still God. And we wonder why when we go through forgiveness like this, it doesn't work. Because it's still the delusion. Still the delusion. It won't work. It can't work. It's not the real deal. So this is a problem. A real significant problem. Right? And since I was made to govern myself internally, according to identity, and it's somewhere where God can't get to, because God cannot control your self. Choose my terminology. God will never control your self-government. He gave it to you. And he rightfully gave it to you. And he will never control your self-government. Sin could only arise where God had no direct control. And that is in the self-government of an intelligent creature. If I govern myself according to a lie, and by that lie, I govern myself and I drive my life in a way that is a danger to myself and to others, but I think that I am driving well. Like somebody who is under the influence of significant amounts of alcohol and think that they are driving well while they are careening all over the place. What will convince me that I have a problem? While you're drunk, you're still not convinced. Right. So, are we responsible for our nature? Can we help how we were born? Does God condemn us because of the nature we're born with? No, no, and no. No. We're not responsible for it. We can't help how we were born. God does not condemn us for the nature that we're born with. But that nature is dangerous, and it's self-destructive, and it harms others, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. But if I was created to govern myself from the inside according to identity, and God can't just take the truth and force it into me so that I have the right perspective and I begin to govern myself the right way, then how is he going to get me to reach out and take something else that I wasn't taking? Because that's the only way he can fix it, is to convince me somehow in my delusion to reach out for something else. Oh. Okay, realize that you're wrong? Yeah? Okay. Holograms. Don't you like it? Okay, all right. So imagine the world is half hologram, half real. But the hologram is so real, it looks real. You can't tell the difference, right? And so everywhere you go, you don't know if it's a wall, or a floor, or a door, or whatever. It looks like everything, but you're not sure what it is because, everything, half of it's hologram and half of it's real. Now, what if every time you went to a door, it functioned like a door, and every time you went to a wall, it functioned like a wall, and every time you walked on a floor, it functioned like a floor? Would you ever question what you believe, what you see? No, you would never question what you see. But if one day you're in a building and you got to go to the bathroom, and down the hall is a bathroom, and you're kind of hoofing it, and all of a sudden, and you're on the ground, and you got a bloody nose and a bump that's growing on your head and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, what in the world? And you're looking around to see who beat you up, and there's nobody. And you get up, and you're like, what is that? You see hallway and the bathroom and everything, and you reach out, and it's concrete wall. But all you can see is hallway with a bathroom down there. Would that make you question what you perceive? Yes. Yeah? Yeah? You might start walking around with your hand in front of you now. Right? Because you're not sure when you're going to run into the hologram was the hall, the real thing was a concrete wall. You just walked with your face into a concrete wall, which is a bad decision. You thought you were walking down the hallway, which is a good decision. And so you made what you thought was a good decision when it was a bad decision, and you got the consequences of the bad decision. That begins to make you question what you perceive. And if one day you're walking into the foyer of a building and you're going to go across to the help desk and you go walk, 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 and then all of a sudden you disappear. And you find yourself a floor below and a hurt ankle, and what was that? And you look up and there's a hole in there. I didn't even see a hole. And somehow you get back up to the foyer and you look, and that's all you see. What's up? And so you go over there and you kind of get to the edge of where you dropped off, and you reach down and your hand goes through nothing. The floor was a hologram right there. It was actually a hole, but it was a hologram floor. And you just went through a hologram floor, which can't hold you up. Would that make you question what you perceive? And if you had enough of those instances, would you begin to look for new answers? Yes. God cannot suspend cause and effect. He must keep cause and effect, even when it's painful. Because it's by the painful experiences of cause and effect that we, in our delusion, begin to question what we perceive. And then to reach out for different information. I, the Lord, search the heart, I test the mind, even give to every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties. See if there's any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. There's another way that God reveals what's going on. So what's in the bottle? Well, if the lid wasn't on very tight, then what would come out?
Wood.
You sure? Beer? Bomb? All right. What's the only thing that can come out of the bottle?
Water.
What's in it? All that can come out of it is what's in it, right? And that's true for people too. All that can come out of you is what's in you. And so in order to help you know what's in you, God must allow circumstances and situations, tests and trials, so that you go, and when you go, then you get to realize what was inside. Because until that, you don't know. You don't know what's in your heart because you don't see it until it comes out. And so God must allow you to go through test and trial and difficult circumstances so that you see what's in your heart and it comes out so that you can see it. Right? Not so that he can condemn you, but so that he can save you from the delusion. Right? So how much good does fallen nature have? Has nothing good. How evil is fallen nature? Yeah, it's all evil. Can the fallen nature produce anything good? No. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. So, can the fallen nature fix the problem through the fallen nature? No. Can a computer's operating system, if it's corrupted, can it fix the corrupted operating system with the same corrupted operating system? No, can't do it. It's impossible. So to try to fix the deception or the false identity with the very thing that has deceived is futile. And that's why self-help methods will never work. Because it simply continues to use the corrupted operating system to try to fix the corrupted operating system. And yes, it looks like there are some benefits associated with it temporarily, but it's not a fix. It's not a fix. How many people are caught in an addiction because they want to be? Nobody. How many are a slave to alcohol because they want to be a slave to alcohol? No. How many are a slave to pornography because they want to be a slave to pornography? That one always has less answers to it. Because we have this idea that, oh no, they want to be a slave. No. No. How many are a slave to TV and movies because they want to be? Nobody. You weren't created to be a slave. You were created to be free. That's right. No one wants to be a slave. And yes, they're addicted to what they're addicted to, not because they like being slaves, but because they can't get out of prison. Right? They're trapped. And yes, the fallen nature likes some of the evil. It does. Right? But they want to get out of the prison, but they're trying to stop it, trying to get out of the prison with the very nature that puts them in prison and keeps them there. So how do you fix it? What's the solution? You can't do it on your own. The solution is a song and a break.
Thank you, Mark. I learned a lot today.
Amen.
I came to know that the Lord is the source of everything. Thomas once asked Jesus, and he said, "What is the way? Where is the way?" And Jesus replied in John, and he said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me." Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other. Jesus is the way. If you have some questions in the corners of your mind, traces of discouragement, no peace of mind, reflections of your past seem to haunt you night and day. But this one thing I do know, Jesus is the way. mountains that you think you cannot climb. I know your skies seem dark. You think the sun won't shine. Remember the Lord is there for you. And this one thing I do know, Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no one. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no one. Jesus is